up so you don't have to hold it the whole time? No? All right. Whatever works for you. All right, guys, just a quick reminder. Let me zoom way out on the MLA format. Remember, this is what percentage of your grade of every paper? 10%. 10 points out of 100 is did you do the MLA right? All right, so this part of the paper is called the heading. You've got to have your name, my name, the name of the class, and the date. Notice the date. Look at the paper you just got back and look at your date and how it differs from my date. Some of you put a comma in. Some of you put the month first instead of the numeral for the day first. So little things like that are going to cost you like 1 point for each little thing. So be careful, all right? So that's the heading. Up here's the header. How do I get in there?
You go to
What's the 2-second way to get in there?
Double click right there.
Double click, boom, right? And you get in there. And then you've got to have a title. It can't be Critical Summary 1, right? We're going to talk about essay titles today. You've got to have some type of title. And then you indent your paragraphs. You do not have a paragraph if you didn't indent it. This is a formal academic essay. You must indent your paragraphs. Tab one time. Tab one time, and that's it. And you double space the entire paper all the way through with no extra spaces, Times New Roman 12-point font. So this is just a quick reminder of, we went over this already. We redid MLA format at the beginning, very beginning of the term. But I'm seeing stuff done incorrectly, so I just want to touch back on it. Because I want you guys to get good grades. And teachers don't like failing students. We hate having to take points off. Plus, it slows us down in the grading. The cleaner your paper is, the faster the grading goes. And the better your grade, right? So I'm going to show you a couple things students always do wrong. The first thing, the easiest thing, is take this. I sent it to you. It's on D2L. Go to class notes and you'll find it, all right? Or just check through your email and you'll see that I emailed it to you. Download it because I sent it to you in a Word doc form, not PDF. What does that mean for you that it's in a Word doc form? You can edit it. So it's all done. The margins are set, the spacing is set, the heading, the header, it's all set. All you need to do is literally take John Doe, delete him, and put your name. That's already done. You don't need to, but let's make somebody else the teacher. Okay, Samantha, because if I drop dead, she's going to be the teacher. And then you change the date. It's what? Do like something like the 5th of April, 2016, right? You can just change. It's already done for you. Don't forget to
in the email.
Don't forget to come up here and change Doe. A lot of people do this and then forget to change this. So come up here and delete Doe and put your last name. Remember to leave that space between the name and the number. Do not do that. There has to be a space between the name and the number. Then you get rid of the title that's there. Grabbing the next line. And you type your own title. I like to leave question marks until I think of my title so I don't forget the title. Then you delete everything I have and you start typing your awesome paragraph, right? I can't type, so that's the only way I could ever type as fast as if I did it like this. Ooh, look, teacher, give me an A. It's already done. The margins are set, the spacing is set, it's already done. What happens is people, people, when they make it themselves, they forget to come in here and click don't add space between paragraphs of the same style. If you don't click that, you're going to get, every time you press enter, an extra space. And then you're going to see me write this on your papers. And it's going to cost you a point every time you do it. And I don't want to take points off. You're going to see me do this double-headed arrow. And that means there's too much space between your lines. You didn't turn off extra space between paragraphs. You've got to turn that off. Or just download the copy I sent you, or take it off D2L, right? It's on D2L, and use it. If your Word document defaults are set to something different, make sure that you double check your defaults, that you turn off the extra space between paragraphs, that you have 1-inch margins all the way around, and that you have the heading and the header and everything done correctly. So that's reminder of the MLA format. What does this mean if you see this on your paper? Too much space between lines. You didn't turn off that function that I just showed you. It's right here under paragraph. You click this little weird arrow. And if you come down here, you'll see don't add space between paragraphs. If you don't do that, it's going to put extra space in and you're going to lose a point. You're going to cry, and I'm going to cry, but you're still going to lose a point.
The one that's all around, that's the default, right?
No, your default is 1.5 on the left and right. So you need to go in and make sure page layout, margins, that it's 1 inch all the way around. But mine's already set.
Okay.
Mine's done. It's just take the one I gave you. It's done, right? So I've not only taught you to fish, I've given you the fish, right? So you know how to do the fish to get the fish yourself because I spent a day teaching this at the beginning of the term, but I gave you the fish so that, hey, just make life easy. But be careful that your computer does not have its own default that changes my default to your default, right? You need to go in and check your defaults that, wait, oh, my computer changed her file. Make sure it doesn't. Okay, any questions on the MLA format? 10%, 10 points, please, 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 don't get that wrong. All right, so I'm not going to save it because we don't need it. Now, let's take out the instructions for the critical summaries. I gave you a handout on the second day of school. Take out the instructions for the critical summaries. If you have a highlighter, highlight that right there. Must be written in third person. That means you're not saying I, me, we, us, our. You're certainly not saying you or yours. You're using the academic, formal, third person voice. There's a time to use the academic we, the academic first person, but not now. This is not the time. Okay? So in this tiny little paragraph, well, not tiny, but tiny little assignment, I should say, it's just one paragraph, one well-developed paragraph, you need to be using third person, not we see, one sees, the reader sees, right? Not you can tell, one, it's clearly obvious that one, blah, 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 blah. Use the third person. No I, me, we, us, our, you, or your. No first or second person. He, she, it, students, teachers, readers, people, doctors, dentists, one. One should, not I should or you should. Academic third person. So highlight that. That's going to cost you points if you don't write in the third person. It's what I call an EI, an extended introduction. I didn't make that up. When I was teaching AP Language and AP Literature, that's one of the strategies we use to teach them how to write quickly under timed environments to get an awesome introductory paragraph for the essay they have to write for the test. So an extended introduction gives certain pieces of information within the introductory paragraph and ends with a strong analytical thesis. If you were going to keep writing the rest of the essay, that thesis would control the essay. But you're stopping at the thesis. The thesis is where in that introductory paragraph? At the end. Last sentence of the first paragraph. Now, if you're writing a 70-page paper, it might move, right? It might be at the end of the third paragraph because your introduction might be 3 paragraphs long. But you're not writing 70-page papers in college. Not until you get to a master's degree will you be writing 70-page papers for your thesis, right? So you don't have to worry about that. And even then, you're never wrong to keep it the last sentence of your introductory paragraph. Don't confuse a topic sentence, which is what the paragraph is about, with a thesis sentence, which is what the essay is about. So you need an extended introduction with an analytical thesis at the end. Boom. Let's put that in green. Super important. I cannot explain to you how devastated I will be and you will be if that thesis is not at the end. Because that's the heart and soul of the paragraph. That's showing me that, you know how we've been talking about theme? Every single time we get in that circle and talk about these stories, I'm like, what's the lesson? What's the theme? What's the moral of the story? Right? And there are several. There's not just one. That's what we're looking for. Analysis. What does the story teach you? Teach the reader. Teach the world. Teach society. What does the story have to say about mankind or the state of the universe or social issue or a cultural issue. What is the story trying to say? An analytical thesis is not summary. It's not saying what the story was. That's not what it is. If you say, if you're writing about My Brother's Keeper and your thesis statement is, Paul ends the story being friends with his younger brother. Yeah, if you did, so what? It's like saying, there is a clock on the wall. Yes, it is. So what? That's not analysis. You're not, what's the lesson? What do we learn from the fact that Paul is now friends with his younger brother? What's the point of that? Why did the author write the story? What is he trying to tell you, right? So if it's just a statement of fact, the highest grade you're going to get is a 75. If you don't have an analytical thesis, the highest grade you can get is what? 75, right? Because it's the heart and soul of the whole thing. That's where the critical thinking occurs. Critical summary. The first part's super easy. It's just a summary of what happened in the story. Make sure you use the literary present tense, which we'll talk about. But that last sentence is where the money is. That's the heart and soul of that paragraph, that thesis statement. So I've given you step by step what to do in this critical summary. In the very first sentence, make sure you say the title and the author and give an overview statement. That's the very first sentence. The title, the author. You have to tell the reader whom you are writing about and what story it is, because those authors have written more than one story. If you say an Olive Senior short story, blah, 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 blah happens, we're like, which story? She's got 50. Which one of them, right? In Olive Senior's quote, do angels wear brassiere, question mark, end quote, comma, blah, 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 then go on. You've got to name the author and name the title. It's the first thing you do in this first sentence. And I'll give you some examples. After that, summarize the story's plot. So you're going to introduce the author and title in the first sentence, give an overview statement of what the story is about, right? Addresses issues of blah, 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 blah. This story concerns itself with blah, 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 blah. Just give an overview statement. Then summarize. So you take the main points of the story and you summarize them. Make sure you use the literary present tense. Do not say Cinderella was a young girl. Cinderella is a young girl. The eternal literary present. You guys all learned that in 1101, and if you had 1102, you learned it again in 1102. So don't forget that you've got to use the literary present tense. Not Jack and Jill went up a hill. Jack and Jill go up a hill. And when you're writing about the story, you're writing as if it's still happening. You're writing in the eternal present, okay? So the literary present tense. You summarize what happens. Please remember that if you quote word for word from the story, you need to put it in quotation marks and cite it. You need to do those MLA citations. So if you're not sure how to do that, if you don't remember that stuff from 1101, don't do it. Don't take the chance that you might do it wrong. I'm going to go over on Thursday how to do it right, just to remind you of stuff from 1101. But if you're really not comfortable and you're not confident that you're going to do it right, then don't do it. Make sure that you just summarize in your own words. Paraphrase. Summaries and paraphrases should be cited anyway, even though they're not directly quoted, because they're not your ideas, they're not your words. But in this summary, because the point of it is to summarize, I'm not going to make you do that, but you do have to cite word for word direct quotes. So make sure you know how to do that, and if you don't, make sure you're here on Thursday. You don't cite, it's plagiarism. That's not good.
So that will work cited page as well?
Yeah. And that stuff I'm going to go over on Thursday. When I go over the quotes, I'm going to go over that on Thursday. You have an entire section on D2L for writing, right? And all this stuff about how to quote properly and writing conventions, it's all there on D2L. This is the stuff that I'm going to be going over on Thursday and on next week Thursday, right? So this Thursday and next week Thursday, because remember Tuesday I'll be at FAU. You guys are welcome to come. So the things everything you see is on D2L. If you plagiarized, flat out, straight up plagiarism, like you didn't even try to do it yourself, you're going to automatically fail the class. It's not worth it. Fail a class for one paragraph, it's not worth it. I'd rather you do the worst possible job, you think it's like the worst thing you've ever done in your life, and you think it's garbage, you think it's a 2-point F. I'd rather you get the 2-point F than fail the whole class for plagiarism. Because you and I can work together and fix the 2-point F, right? You can come to my office, we can fix the F, and the next one will be beautiful, and you'll be fine. You'll pass the class, right? So don't plagiarize. There's a difference between I am lazy and don't want to do this, and I'm going to just copy paste it, and I'm trying to do it right, but I'm doing it wrong. I'm not going to fail you if you try to do it, but do it the incorrect way. Because you're trying to do it, you just don't remember how to do it right. But outright plagiarism is going to cause you to fail the class. I just failed somebody in 2210 because of outright, straight-up copy-paste plagiarism. So don't do it. Get all the way to week 9 and then fail a class. That's no fun. So you've got, in your first sentence, the title and the author and an overview statement. After that, you have a summary of what happened. Do not retell the whole story. It's a summary. So if you have the original and it's this long, a summary takes the original, puts it in your own words, and shrinks it. It's not retelling the entire story, okay? The summary shrinks it. A paraphrase, here's the original, puts it in your own words, but keeps it the same length with the same points in the same order. You're not paraphrasing, you're summarizing. So what are you doing? Shrinking it. So if you were going to summarize an entire chapter in a book, it should be like one paragraph, okay? If you're going to summarize one paragraph, it should be one sentence. You're shrinking it down. So you're summarizing an entire short story in one paragraph, okay? So you're not telling every single detail that happened. You're giving an overview of the main events. The main events. Now, that brings you to the last sentence. This is the money sentence. What does the story seem to be dealing with? We've talked about theme for the last 9 weeks. We talked about it in poetry. We talked about it in every single short story that you've read. So, what is the author saying? What social issue or universal, paradoxical lesson or whatever, right? We've had enough examples. We've been talking and talking and talking and talking, but we're going to look at more examples today of actual summaries, okay? So you can be reminded. And you also have the Finding Theme PowerPoint and handout online. So here's how you do it if you've forgotten. What broader social issue outside of the realm of the story or intra or interpersonal problem is the story addressing? It's not about what's happening in the story. If you say, the author uses symbolism or Senior uses symbolism to illustrate Paul's friendship with his brother, that's not theme. That's so what? Yes, he does. So what? That's not analysis. You're just stating fact, right? You have to do more than just say what happened in the story. You have to show what it means outside of the story. Take it outside of the story. Do not confuse subject and topic with theme. Remember this chart? We've done this a couple times in here. This is subject or topic. And this is, totally backwards. This is topic. Subject or topic, that's interchangeable. This is theme. This can be said in how many words? 1. This needs what? A whole sentence. Good, Michael. It needs a whole sentence. So how do you get from here to here? What do we ask ourselves? If the story is about, pick something. Love. Or what else? Betrayal. Or incompetence. Or arrogance. Or whatever. What's the author saying about love? What does he want you to believe, to know, to understand about the nature of love? That's leading you to theme. So don't forget this exercise that we've done a couple different times to get to theme, all right? So that's going to be, or could be, one of the things that you decide to put in that thesis statement. Just remember to make it analytical. So don't let it intimidate you. Just go through what we've done in class and you'll be fine. You've got these notes. I sent them to you. We went over them. They're also posted on D2L called Finding Theme. It'll help you remember everything of what we've done and discussed in class. And we've been talking about it since the first week of school. So just refer back to, guys, be sure to remind me to mark you here, okay? Now, how long should it be? One well-developed paragraph. one well-developed paragraph. I expect it to be at least half a page long, MLA format. At least half a page long MLA format. It should be half to 3/4 of a page. That means double spaced. MLA format means you're double spacing it, okay? So half to 3/4 of a page. Don't exceed 1 page. Don't make it more work than it is, right? I mean, if you want me to assign you a 5-page essay, I will. But why? I don't need 5 pages to know if you can summarize a story and find the heart of the story, right, for your thesis statement. So, one well-developed paragraph should be about 3/4 of a page long, double-spaced, do not exceed 1 page. So this is all stuff we've already gone over. You're doing 2 for the entire course. 1 is going to be due after you finish Unit 3. 1 is going to be due after you finish Unit 6. The assignment calendar and the syllabus tells you where the units are, right? So Unit 1 was Jamaica. I think Unit 2 was Trinidad. I think Unit 3 was it Guyana? All right, Unit 4 is coming up. That's Barbados. So you're picking a story from Jamaica, Trinidad, or Guyana. You're picking. Just go on the assignment calendar. It tells you unit and then tells you the stories, right? For those days. Now, how am I grading them? Did you follow directions? Did you have enough detail? Did you develop thoughtful analysis? Did you have a lengthy, substantive paragraph? No crack baby paragraphs. Your paragraph needs to look like Jennifer Hudson before she lost weight. It needs to be Rubenesque and well-developed. It's got to have some meat on the bones. No little crack baby paragraphs, right? That's not healthy. You need to have some meat on your bones. Be healthy. So Jennifer Hudson, healthy. We want Rubenesque. That means well-developed. Fill them out.
So we chose whatever story we wanted.
Units 1 through 3. Grammar counts. This is a writing class. It's an English class. Spelling counts. Punctuation counts. Mechanics. Those are all the little nuts and bolts of writing. Grammar. Those things count. They're going to impact your grade. Do not dash this off at the last minute and hope spell checker saves you, because it ain't going to. People who've had me before can tell you spell checker is practically useless in your life if I ever teach you. Because if the computer were so stinking smart, it would catch every mistake you made, and I would never have a single thing to write on any paper except a big smiley face, A+, 100 points out of 100. If the computer were so smart, right? The computer's not that smart, because even though people run the spell check and the grammar check, they're still getting their papers marked up, because I am the grammar Nazi. And the computer doesn't know the rules. You have to know the rules. You have to make sure the computer did it right. Let me show you examples of how wrong the computer can be, or it doesn't tell you, right? A student wrote in 1102 about the gift of the Magi. And the student wrote, his watch is a family heirloom. The computer did not catch that. Is there such a thing as an heirloom? No. What's that word supposed to be? This is the word. Heirloom, right? The computer didn't catch that. And so this is a kid who doesn't read, because he hears the word, but he's never seen it on a page. I know when students don't read books, because they spell everything incorrectly. And it's because you don't see it. You never see the word because you're never reading. You just hear people say it. So you're phonetically writing in your college papers these words, and then I'm having heart attacks every time I see that. And I know when you read a lot, because you spell it right, but you say it wrong. Because you might not ever have heard it, but you've seen it over and over. So I'd much rather that you say it wrong, but you know the word and you know how to spell it right because you've seen it. Readers write well, even though they can't tell you why. They couldn't tell you the rule, but they've absorbed it because they've read so much and they've seen the pattern of syntax over and over and over and over again. And I saw another sentence yesterday, and the student wrote about the telltale heart, something, I don't remember the beginning of the sentence. The narrator, something like this, wants people to believe he is sane. What's wrong with that?
That's not
Computer didn't catch that either, right? That's not how you spell sane. It's S-A-N-E. So do not trust the computer. You have to proofread your own work and make sure you've spelled the word correctly. If you're not sure, what do you do? Get a dictionary. Please. There is this thing, I know it's like 5,000 years old and you've probably never seen one, but there's this really cool book called a dictionary. It's like awesome. It has all these words in it, and it tells you how to spell them, and it tells you what parts of speech they are, because sometimes words are more than one part of speech. They're switch hitters. Gives you multiple definitions, and a really good dictionary gives you sample sentences, and you have access free of charge to a $1,200 dictionary called the OED, the Oxford English Dictionary, online through VC. You don't even have to go spend $1,200 to buy the best dictionary in the world. That if you're a scholar, that's the only dictionary you should cite, right? You have access to it free through the library databases. Log into the library databases, go to O, look for Oxford English Dictionary, and boom, there you are, in. So use the dictionary, because spell check is not going to help you. It's not going to help you. And those are just tiny little things. That's not even getting into the grammar, right? The incorrect number agreement, where your pronoun doesn't agree with its antecedent. It's not going to do this. It's not going to catch your incorrect use of first or second person if it's supposed to be third person only, unless you tell the computer if you turn that function on. So you want to really be mindful of proofreading your own work. The best thing you can do, well, one of the best things you can do, read it out loud to yourself. If you read it out loud, like literally open your mouth and articulate the words, you're going to hear the mistakes. You're going to hear where your sentence doesn't make sense, where you left a word out, where you put words in reverse order. Because, you know, your brain is filling in as you type, right? And your brain puts in the right thing, but your fingers don't obey. That ever happened to you? Like, I can't type, and I've told you this, no matter how many times I type the word the, my fingers hit the keys in that order. That's my signature typo. My fingers will not go, where's the H? My fingers will not go T-H-E. My fingers go T-E-H. Yeah, like this. Is that bad? Why is that bad? It's effective. Why is that bad? I can't type with any other finger.
And I think that's why you have the.
So here's the T, here's the H, and here's the E. And I don't go 1, 2, 3. I go 1, 2, 3. And I can't control it. But I know I do it. So I know I gotta go back and do what? Check all my does. Know your signature typos, because I can't type. My husband, so unfair. He can be like having a conversation and typing perfectly. And nothing's misspelled. His fingers are hitting all the right keys. Because he learned